Welcome to Fashion Watch, and like we always say here on Fashion Watch, first impressions matter, and they matter a lot. Research has found, I just said research, I can't believe that. Research has found that appearances affect success in all aspects of life, but you have the power to improve both through style. And you're probably thinking, it's a daunting task. How do I know what to wear and where to wear it to? Our experts in studio are here to help you make those decisions. Again, let me just introduce our panel to you tonight. My Fashion Watch panel live in studio tonight: Carol Odero, editor Drum Magazine and also a fashion columnist. And right here next to me, of course, is Ian Bogwa, TPF judge, also a thespian. You know, he's no nonsense. He says it as it is. And of course, Annabelle Onyango. She's a fashion stylist and a blogger. Thank you so much, guys, for being with us this evening.
Thank you.
And let's begin with what we have for you tonight. And there's no question that the First Lady, Margaret Kenyatta, is a First Lady with style. Let's check out some of her memorable fashion moments. And there we go. That's the First Lady, Margaret Kenyatta, there, and she is with her mother-in-law in that clip. And there again, a dressed down look. And again, there we see her in a more formal look. And let's wait on that. Let's first talk about the clips that we ran there for you. And let me begin with you, Carol. The First Lady, like I said, unique style, steps out impeccably dressed. But that's my opinion. What do you think?
Well, I know that a lot of Kenyans have been waiting on a First Lady who can be a fashion icon. And Margaret Kenyatta actually pulls it off really well, because she's classy and she's refined and she's polished. And even without speaking much in the limelight, she still manages to keep doing this consistently. When she's doing evening wear, whether she's doing like that is casual, but that casual, I find it a little too dressed down, because I still think she can, you know, jazz it up a bit. I think it's a little on the lethargic side. But I like the way she does the formal outfits, and I like the way she does the dinner evening wear. And I also love how she has kept her silver hair. You know, she's like a silver fox. And that's pretty cool. You know, she doesn't put on the headbands. She just decides to go with the short cropped, beautifully elegant grey look here.
Okay, great. Ian, what do you think about the First Lady's style? And, you know, just because a lot of us ladies, let me speak for myself, prefer to have extensions on.
Don't get me started on extensions and weave.
No, that's a topic for another day. But just generally, I mean, that's a whole topic on its own.
Yes, it is.
Yes, so what do you think?
I think she's very classy. She's a classy woman in the way she dresses, in the way she looks, in the way she talks. She's natural, and she always picks her costume, her style, her dress to suit the occasion. Yes. And I don't think she's really dressed down in that second one. I like the way that, you know, she shows that I can dress down completely and still look nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I suppose gone are the days when we would see our First Ladies, Annabelle, in, you know, the formal fitted suit, and, you know, even when it's hot and sunny out there.
I mean, it's a new day. Michelle Obama has sort of ushered in this new wave of fashion for the premier lady of our countries. I mean, I think she's a stately lady. I mean, I think it's a bit overstated to say that she's a fashion icon. I think she dresses appropriately for her position. I mean, I think she could do a little bit more. I think she could take a few more risks in her style. It's interesting because that first picture they showed with her and Mrs. Ruto in the red outfit, it mirrored that picture we saw last week with the president and his number two, also wearing the red clothes, the red ties, and these ladies. Yes.
The older Mrs. Kenyatta. So it was interesting to see them both wearing red, but I think the point of note is that they were both wearing African, which is always nice to see for an African head of state to sort of be representing the continent. So I love that.
Okay. Right, and perhaps for somebody who, like for a lady who admires this look, obviously she's not wearing
off-the-rack items and cheap items, just for lack of a better word. But if you want to be able to dress like the First Lady, like perhaps if there's a lady watching at home who says, I like the way she dresses, where can I get something similar? And is not able to jump on a plane and go, to London shopping and to Dubai shopping, what do you advise?
I mean, these are people of means, I'm sure there's a stylist who does go to Dubai on their behalf. So I would say that even though, she looks well tailored because she's probably well tailored. I'm not an insider, so I don't know the details. But if you see her looking great, it's because she's dressed great, and there's probably designers behind what she's wearing. I will add that the second picture where she's in the khakis and the striped tee, I find that a little on the casual side, actually, for stateswomen. And I think when you're a stateswoman, even if you're in a casual environment, I think you're the First Lady, so you can actually be a little more
Please,
dignified.
That image, just where Annabelle says that she thinks it's a bit too dressed down. Can we have that?
It's an outside shot of them walking.
Okay, and as we wait on that, right, that's the first one where Annabelle talked about hair matching what her mother-in-law was wearing. That's what Annabelle is talking about right now. And Annabelle, you're saying, that this is a bit...
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the people around her, there's a red carpet, everybody around her is sort of in ties, a lady standing beside her is, in a jacket and a skirt. And it looks like she's the most underdressed of everybody in that image, which I think should be the opposite. I think she should be the most dressed of everybody in that image. She is our First Lady.
Yeah, and Carol, I had asked Annabelle about a lady who perhaps wants to emulate and copy this style, but is thinking, I don't want to dig too deep into my pocket. Where can I get a similar look? How can I get a similar look?
I see a lot of people going to local designers for something like this. And you can get the fabric from you can actually buy the fabric locally and just have something tailored to suit your body type. And then you don't have to get, because she doesn't do the whole print wild kitenge fabric, which is great. So you can also find a way to modify that according to your style. You just use her as a source of inspiration, but you don't pick and copy and paste exactly the way it is.
Right. And let's move on to our next image, which is that of the Deputy President's wife, Rachel Ruto. She's also been seen at numerous events, just stands out, of course, as well because of her dressing. And indeed, all eyes are on these ladies, particularly because they are the wives of our leaders. And there you go. That's Rachel Ruto there in boots. At a farm, and that is her.
The Hague.
Once again at The Hague. And this is an evening look. She's got... Yeah, so those are 4 different looks. I'll begin with the boots. And this is not her everyday look. This is perhaps... not what you see her in every day. Carol, you're the one giggling, so let's let's talk about that.
I'm giggling because I love boots. I wear boots regardless of the weather. But in this case, you can tell that it's really, really hot. And in as much as she's looking to protect her legs, it doesn't seem suitable for the weather. And there's just something a bit off about it, the pencil skirt and the boots and the hat. The hat is too summery, the skirt is too formal, the boots are too casual, the top is too something.
So you don't like it pretty much?
No, I don't. It's too random.
No, it could guys like boots on women.
Oh yes, yes they do. But I do agree with her in this instance. They kind of look odd. It looks like it could be her decision to wear that instead of gumboots. Could be muddy.
I would wear that instead of gumboots.
Instead of gumboots.
Annabelle.
I mean, I think this, unfortunately for Mrs. Ruto, even though she's a style chameleon, and you can see from the other images that she does take risks and do a lot of different things, this is a styling fail. Like Carol said, there's a lot, there's summer on top, there's winter on the bottom, there's a skirt in the middle. I mean, if she was going out, I think she could have upgraded her boot to maybe a riding boot, which comes up the leg a little further and doesn't cut her in the middle and make her look her legs look bigger. And then she should have worn a pant. I mean, she's out in a field in the grass. She should be wearing pants with those boots, not really a skirt.
And this Nairobi weather, like Carol, you said, and I see boots everywhere. I mean, everybody's in boots, even on a hot, blazing hot day. But then again, there are people who wear boots because perhaps they think their legs are skinny, or perhaps they're trying to hide something, or maybe that's just their style. So despite our, blazing hot temperatures, what do you think about, boots and just how they should be worn and where?
Well, it's easier to say that boots should be worn when it's cool, but you can find boots that have lining that is not made out of something thick. Like if you find a pure lining leather, and you can wear that against your skin without wearing it with socks or having your feet sweat. And you can also wear something, you know, something with a flat heel, so it doesn't look like you're trying to be all, you know, Puss in Boots or something. And also because I love boots so much, I always wear them all the time. It depends on where you're working. If you're going to be doing a lot of walking, you're going to get overheated. It's going to get uncomfortable. So if you're working in an air-conditioned space and you don't commute much in public transport, then it makes it easier for you to wear boots on a day-to-day basis.
Great, I love that. Yeah, look at the lining. You know, some of them have this far. And
and it's thick, and it's like it has wool on the inside, and it's really itchy and uncomfortable. Just don't wear those. Even when it's really cold, there is no reason to.
But I
those
mean,
are for winter.
I think, I think boots are for winter.
Yes.
I mean, Carol, you might disagree with me, but boots are reserved for winter time. That's why in the winter, that's when they come out in the stores. So there's a certain time in the year where you have to put your boots away and then get out your booties. And what your booties are a shorter boot that end at your ankle. And I think that's a more appropriate transition, let's say, to wearing the boot in hotter months.
But for us, if we had to wait until it got really cool enough to wear boots, we would never have boots as a fashion trend here, because it rarely gets cold enough to wear it for a long stretch of time. So a lot of people feel like if you want to maximize, then you keep wearing the heck out of it even when it's hot.
So I think just look at the lining, you know, and I love that. So let's move on to some more images. There were some other images of the Deputy President's wife, that's Rachel Ruto, and let's take a look at that. That's a Masai shuka, which is, let's go back to that, please, and take a look at that. This is a Masai shuka, and she's got a little pencil belt over it, and I think this is not an outfit per se, but it's a shuka that she sort of, you know, played around with and put over her dress. I like it. What do you think, Annabelle?
I mean, I think it's actually quite cute. She's really sort of interpreted our Kenyan flag, I guess, and put it in a shuka, and she cinched her waist beautifully, and her bust looks great, and she has her little sort of Kenyan bag on the side, and she looks really youthful, actually, in my opinion. It looks very sunny and young, and I think it's great.
Ian?
I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it.
Carol, what do you think?
Well, I think it's beautiful, just like Annabelle says. I'm wondering what else is underneath it. And this is a kind of look that even when she's walking around, like say at the airport, they always like snapping celebrities at the airport. This is actually something she can wear if she's traveling, and if she's casual, if she's at home, and if she's in a formal environment. It's very versatile. I actually like how she can make it work.
Okay, so this is a win. Right, let's move on to the next one of Rachel Ruto. And she's got a yellow dress on this one with red little detail, and I think the bag as well. If we could see the bag, yes, the bag is red as well. Ian?
This was Deputy President's party colors.
Yeah.
Yes. And
so what does this communicate for her as a lady standing beside her man?
She's supporting her man. She wants to wear yellow, just like him. But she will not just wear any yellow. She goes to a tailor to have a nicely done dress for her.
Yeah, as opposed to wearing the same shirt he's wearing.
Yes.
Annabelle, couples who show up in church wearing the same.
Yeah.
A lot of church weddings, you know, you tell your man, babe, I want us to wear this.
I mean, I think it's cute. I think there's nothing better than a woman who kind of dresses her man and they have elements of their clothing that kind of match. I think it's cute. If you keep it sort of, if it's not too overt and not too obvious, because it can get cheesy. In this case, it's a political situation, so I understand why they are both in yellow and black. I mean, I don't think it's a fashion moment. I think it's just a lady who's dressing like her husband to support him.
Yeah. Ian, you know, Annabelle touched on just couples, thinking that it's cute for couples to dress the same. Can your wife, is she allowed, and not just you, but what do you think about, you know, women telling their husbands, this is what I think we should wear tomorrow, like supposing I was your wife and we're wearing the same shirt
it's a question of agreeing, and also agreeing on the sort of material and pattern, so that it doesn't end up being that's very feminine, and then you expect me to have a shirt that's got the same sort of pattern.
Like pink?
Yes, that's I can do pink. I can do pink. There's no problem. Yes, but if it's something that will make me look effeminate, that is out of the question. But I think wearing the same sort of thing is
It is cute.
It's cute.
It is cute.
I
Yeah,
actually
but not all
don't
the
think it is.
time.
I actually
Yeah.
don't think it is. I think it is so overdone, and I think if you want to be matchy-matchy as a couple, just get just an accent of it. She didn't have to wear a full dress that's yellow. She could have just had a yellow flower and a black dress, and it would have still been fine. You don't have to put the whole solidarity thing all over and stamp it on your entire body. You know,
So I figure you wouldn't do it.
no.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, this is alpha female, I suppose. Okay, let's.
It's because it's yellow, not red. If it was red,
Even
you'd have-
then,
would agree.
I
You'd have
still would not
agreed.
expect him to wear a full red. Just like a little red thing here and a small tie, that would be fine.
Yeah.
The rest is it's just too much. It's
Okay.
overwhelming.
Okay, and let's move the discussion along now and look at our next images, and these are of the Jazz Festival, the Safaricom Jazz Festival that was held on Sunday at the Ngong Racecourse. And let's take a look at those images. Very colorful there. And Ian, your workmate on Tasker Project fame there, Kavutha Mwanzia, she's a plus-size lady, of course, very comfortable in her skin. Annabelle, let me begin with you in terms of just the big girl and what works best in terms of accentuating or not also exaggerating certain parts of your body. That
Yeah.
you,
I mean, I think Kavuda is such a I was at the Safaricom Jazz Festival, and I've never met Kavuda before, except that on that day was the first time. Yeah, that was the first time I've ever seen her
Okay.
perform.
Yeah.
And she's an incredibly self-assured woman. I mean, she stands on the stage, and she's just so bright, and her voice is amazing, and she has such stage presence. And you can even tell by her wardrobe, that summery dress she's wearing, the yellow, the yellow little sweater that she's wearing over the top, and then she has this flower in her hair. She looks exactly the way she feels. She's sunny, she's bright. So, I mean, I think her personality looks just like how she is dressed, just
Right.
really great.
Ian?
I like the way she looks there.
Yeah.
I do. And well, I've always seen her. I've worked a lot with her, and I've seen the different costumes that she wears, especially during the show, and that works out really nicely. The blue and the yellow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that.
And it doesn't-
Carol.
She's plus size, yes, and she's not trying to hide that she's plus size.
Yes.
She's comfortable in it. That's what's important.
Yeah.
Right. Carol, the little bolero, and, you know, for me, I think what I'm asking is, how do you know what's still in? Yes, you're a plus-size woman, but then there are people who will look at you and think, oh my goodness, boleros are so 2000 and what? But I don't know. What do you think about this look?
Well, in this case, I think it works for her because for a lot of plus-size women, you tend to be rather big in the upper body and you have big arms. So if you want to not overwhelm people with that, then it's actually a good idea to put something on top. And a small sweater or a bolero is actually, in that case, it would qualify as a classic.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say that it's outdated.
Yeah.
In this case, it actually fits. And then
Yes.
she's color blocked it, so it actually works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she looks great.
Yes.
Yeah, and
She
you know, in
does.
keeping with trends, is that, I mean, there's so much pressure, Annabelle, to keep with trends and just to know what is in, what is not in. So how
Yeah.
do you keep up?
You have to know yourself.
Yeah.
There's one thing to follow trends, which I do religiously like a crazy person, but then at the same time, I know my body, I know what my strengths and weaknesses are, and I know that there are some things that I just can't do. So know yourself and just proceed with caution when it comes to trends, because not everything is going to work for you. Absolutely not.
Right. Jazz Festival, again, let's move on to the next image at the Jazz Festival. Of course, it was a very colorful day, bright and sunny, and a lot of Kenyans, young and old, turned up for that event. Let's take a look at our next image. And this, if we could have it full screen so that we can get a better view of that, is of, you know, yeah, a couple of friends, I presume, and there's a guy in white. Could we see what he has underneath, I mean, in terms of his shoes? Well, not just yet, but yeah, that's a guy hanging out with his buddies. Very colorful look. I'll talk about the guy, Ian. Yeah, stunners and
He just put on what's the
formal
first thing he
shirt.
got, and he just put it on. No, there's no effort made there. None at all.
yeah. And yet we're seeing a lot of guys putting effort in what they wear, Carol.
I actually disagree with Ian when he talks about effort because I would bet my last dollar that most of the guys showed up in jeans and he didn't, you know. And also it was hot and it was sunny and it was summery, so this is actually perfect. What he's wearing, it's very cool.
Yeah.
And I actually wish I could see his shoes because that would help a great deal, and also the rest of his head.
Yeah, I remember
But,
he was wearing, I saw this clip earlier, and he was wearing Converse sneakers.
Were they
Annabelle, what do you
white?
think?
Were they white sneakers?
No, they're like navy blue
Yeah.
with a white strip on them.
I mean, I disagree with you two. I think he looks quite coordinated, actually. I think this is a young man who took time, knowing that he was going to go to a festival, and he decided to go in monochromatic white, and his glasses match his shirt, which match his shorts, and he has his necklace. I mean, I think he looks like he put some effort in, and I think he looks great.
Yeah. I love white personally, so this for me is a win. Okay, so let's move on. And take a look at what's next. Do we have something else from the Fashion Fest? I mean, from the Safaricom Jazz Festival? I believe we do. Let's take a look at that. Okay, let's move on then. And Lupita Nyong'o's big moment is tomorrow. Of course, she's been nominated for an Oscar, and we're all really excited. Best Supporting Actress category. She's up for that, but together, of course, with big names. So all eyes just on Hollywood right now as we wait to see whether Lupita will bring home the gold. Let's take a look at some of her red carpet looks. Yes, and actually these are her Oscar gown predictions. This was on Instagram. This was on her Instagram. And, you know, between the two, she was asking which one do you think works better on her. Ian, she looks stunning in everything, but for you, what's your preferred
I would
choice?
go with the red if it's those two. That Cinderella look for the Oscars, not really.
Yeah. Annabelle, what do you think?
I
That's
mean,
my choice.
I think everybody will agree that Lupita has had an amazing run this season, this award season, and she's actually made no mistakes. So she knows what she's doing, her and her stylist. Those predictions, if they're from her Instagram, I don't know if they're real, if it's just her kind of sort of teasing us, and she's probably going to come out with something completely different than what's on her Instagram. I would go with the look on the right with the monochromatic, because that's what her strength is, and that's what she's been doing all season. I do think it's going to be a big princess dramatic event for Lupita at the Oscars.
Okay. She's, like Annabelle said, she never gets it wrong, and therefore the Oscars are a big deal because she just can't get it wrong. I mean, she's done so well on the red carpet previously. What do you think?
Well, the Oscar is the mother of them all. But I actually don't think any of these looks work for her. I think the best look for Lupita has always been the fitted one, like the first Ralph Lauren she wore, the one that put her on the map and
The
everybody
cape?
noticed her. Yes, I think that shape is better for her, and it makes it brings out her toned body, and it makes her look feminine. This one looks like, because her body is so masculine almost, that makes it look like it's not a good fit for her. Because looking at her upper body, it overwhelms her frame. I actually think that she would be better suited with something more fitted, you know, and maybe with a little train. It almost like a classic shape.
But if you were to
would
pick
give it a
between the
twist.
two of them,
I
which
wouldn't
one
pick
would you-
either, actually. I wouldn't pick either.
And that's okay. I mean, so. And like Annabelle said, she probably wouldn't wear
Either.
Any of those.
just getting you know, people excited and just looking forward to seeing what she'll wear tomorrow. Let's take a look at the style tips of the week, and this is what you should carry home from Fashion Watch tonight. And our analysts, our panel, will be talking about this shortly. Let's take a look at that. And there we go. First style tip of the week, quality versus quantity. Annabelle, what does this mean? I mean, back in the day, I used to have so much. Anything that looked nice, I would just buy it. But, you know, as you age, you begin to, you know, prefer quality brands.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people will relate to the idea of having a closet full of clothes and nothing to wear. I mean, that happens to so many of us. So I think, as you said, as you get older, you realize that you want to invest a little bit more in your wardrobe, and you want to buy classic pieces that you can wear for the rest of your life, rather than sort of pandering to trends and buying things that are really just going to serve you for 3 months, but buying things that cost a little bit more, feel a little bit better, and they'll serve you well for a long time.
Yeah. Second style tip of the week. Let's take that for you. Let's take a look at that. Simplicity is best. Ian, I want you to talk about this, because every time on Tusker Project Fame, you're always on the girls' cases, particularly when you think there's just too much going on.
Well, in TPF, when I talk about how they're dressed, it depends on what they're going to do. If they're going to dance and they're going to be moving about, then they need to wear something that is simple enough for them to free themselves to do whatever they want, as opposed to wearing something that's so tight and shoes that are so high, they look nice, but they can't do a thing in them. So just keep it simple. That's all I ask.
Right, and let's move this along, please, as we begin to wind up. Third style tip of the week: don't break the bank. And you know, this goes back to number one, Carol, where we said quality versus quantity. Sometimes quality can be expensive. So how do you handle both of this? You don't want to invest all you have, you know, in your wardrobe. But you still want style and you still want quality.
Not breaking the bank is more like a double-edged sword, because I know in Drum we keep encouraging people, go out and shop and buy clothes 20 to 40,000 shillings, and sometimes it doesn't even look like they're worth that much money. But at the same time, look for an investment piece. There are some things in your closet that should actually qualify to be expensive because you'll wear them for 5 to 10 years. You know, something like a basic black, you know, blazer and trousers and dress, and a really good pair of shoes that can transition from day to night. Those ones are worth the investment. But some things just, I mean, if it's trendy, if it's like just a nice random dress, just buy as many as you can and fill your closet with it and put all those slots in it. But there's some basic pieces that you actually need to spend money on. Yes.
Okay, and finally, our last two style tips of the week. Used items of fashion are also an option, and take note of fashion trends. We talked about the fashion trends earlier. Annabelle talked about that. Used items of fashion, Annabelle. We have Toy Market, we have Kikamba. And they're affordable. They're still
they're very affordable, and even the bougie girls of Nairobi shop there, even though they don't admit to it, Lillian.
Just in case you meet her there.
A lot of the fancy girls don't admit to it, but it's a really useful resource, and there's so much out there. But I think I would like to add that it's good to sort of balance your mixing of your use of secondhand clothing with sort of Kenyan-made clothing, so that, you know, we keep the industry going. But I think there's room for everybody in the market. There's so many of us.
Okay, great. And let's take Twitter reactions now. Of course, the hashtag is Fashion Watch. A lot of you are writing into us. And let's take a look at our Twitter boards. There we go. Fashion Watch, this segment is amazing. I'm learning from it. Thank you, Brian. How should the fitting on men's trousers be? Very important, yes. Annabelle, no, Ian first. Wow.
No,
I'm
not a stylistica. I think
Let me take it.
Yes,
for you,
please.
what works? I mean, because there's either too short or too long. So.
Well, it should really, it should just touch. If it's a pair of jeans, it's different. As long as it is not sagging. As long as it's not sagging, and you have to keep pulling it up. And it shouldn't crumple right at the bottom and fill up. It really should, if it's a dress trouser, it should just touch your shoe.
Okay.
Yes.
Carol?
Well, I would say that if you're a guy and you're buying pants, just take a finger and put it in. Just one finger. Anything more than that is too big. Anything less is too small. And then if you're getting a length, there are different kinds of lengths. There is a short, a medium, and a full break. A short break is nice if you're tall, lean, and you want a slim-fitting suit. The medium break is nice if you're a professional executive. The long one is if you want to be stylish and all those nice things, then you can do that. And at the same time, you don't belt it if it's more than an inch around the waist, because it looks like an elasticated paper bag, and then you just puff out, and that is not a good look. So,
And let me just add to that, no pleats in the pants.
None.
No pleats. It's outdated, it's done with. Get a fitted pant, no pleats.
I have never seen pleats. Oh my God.
Number two.
No, number two.
I'm not counting.
No counting. I think this is just too intense. I've never seen pleats on a guy's pants.
Yeah, up the top here.
Wow.
There are pleats at the top, but now if you wear them, then it just looks really, really old.
That's serious. Wow. Okay, let's move on to the next comment from Twitter, comment or question. How do you know how to dress on different occasions, or do we follow what others wear? I think Annabelle earlier said, stick to what works for you. Is there something like fashion, and how old is old? That's again on trends, yes. And what is good for an engineer in the field to wear? The fashion watch. Why are you guys laughing? I mean, that's a valid question. Seriously, engineer could mean what?
There probably is a dress code in the workplace,
Yeah.
so you can check with that. And if it's in the field, then there's probably something that someone else who's his supervisor already wears. Just look at what your boss wears if you're not sure. That will give you a clue, really. Yeah.
Follow the leader.
But then you've got to remember things like the corporate world, which has now changed, and people are now wearing jeans, are being encouraged to wear jeans. So you can't say that just because your boss is wearing a suit that you should also wear a suit. It could be your boss may even dress down and start wearing
But
jeans.
I think people should do what I do, which is just put a bunch of clothes in the back of your car, and you'll always have something to change
do that
into.
as well, and shoes, and yeah.
Yeah, everything.
But just in case you
What
can't.
if you don't have a car? Yeah. If you don't have a car, then
I would
that's
still say
different.
look at your boss and what he's wearing. Chances are, if you're an engineer and it's your boss, he's not dressing down. And he probably is dressing up more than you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And finally, this is from 22422. My tummy is so big that no fashion gives my taste of choice. This is on what's going on around here for the men and for the women as well. I would say Spanx, but then that's me. What do you think, Carol?
Well, it depends on what you say big is. But I would recommend
Big.
I would recommend that you layer your clothing, get something really light underneath, and then you put your main top on top, so it doesn't look like there are bumps and ridges on top of it. So it smooths it out just a little. I wouldn't recommend Spanx for day-to-day wear because it's really uncomfortable,
Yeah,
and
oh
it's
my
more like
goodness.
for a short period of time, you know. So it just layer it.
I'd recommend a gym and a diet. First of all.
No, but I mean, well, yeah, a gym and a diet, but that's a bit harsh, but it is the reality.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah. Annabelle.
Control underwear, Spanx, I mean, they're uncomfortable, but, you know, fashion is no pain, no gain.
Can men wear Spanx though? No.
Yes, there is Spanx
There
for
are,
men, actually.
yeah, there
Yeah,
are.
there is.
Ian. Ian, you don't have to wear your Spanx.
Okay.
You're not, you're in good shape. Okay, so thank you, you guys for today's info on what to do and what not to do as regards fashion and style. Bernard Ndong is standing